Sports and warfare. Further elaborating on land grab games. So I'm gonna jump right into it. Baseball symbolizes field warfare. Infield, outfield, bases loaded. Bases are bunkers, baselines are enemy lines, the dugout, the foxhole, the trenches. Up the bat is up to shoot. Bases loaded, guns loaded, strikeouts are casualties, strikes are the wounded. Foul ball is out of enemy range, off target. Ball equals bullets, missiles, rockets, bombs. That's why they sing the national anthem, or that's why the national anthem is sung at these sports events. Baseball symbolizes war. That's why it's known as America's favorite pastime, because America's favorite pastime is war. Or should we say the United States' favorite pastime is war. And they've been going to war in America since the time before time. So that's how it became America's favorite pastime. That was their favorite thing to do to pass time, go to war. Now, let's see. You got the Yankees versus the Confederates, basically. Dodgers, dodging bullets or enemy fire. Home run equals easy victory. Grand slam equals multiple easy victories. Stealing bases, infiltrating enemy base and getting away unharmed, moving to the next base. Side note, raccoons, recon. Raccoon equals recon. The raccoons were an Indian recon unit that used to move in stealth, and they wore black paint over their eyes. That's where the term recon unison comes from, or and that's also the reason why they call black people coons. Again, Indian means black. Raccoon is a terminology, or recons is something that comes from the natives, that name actually. And they use it as other things to make a mockery out of us, and they use it as a derogatory term, just like nigga, NGR, nagus, naga, all of these different things. Any variation of play on the word nigga that correlates with king or royalty. You know, what else you want to do? The same method you use to tame black people is the same method they use to tame horses. So we're going to get into this football thing. You got the Denver Broncos, which, rodeo horses, cowboys try to tame and master. You got the Colts, which Colts are horses. The symbol on their helmet is a horseshoe, which symbolizes or represents tamed horses or the taming of horses, and also being branded. Dolphins represent the Dogon people. That's and these people were said to turn the dolphins to escape certain cataclysmic events that occurred in the past. So when they say squish the fish, they're talking about suppressed knowledge, which the knowledge of the Dogon deal with high science. So this is the whole squish the fish thing. Indianapolis, like the Indianapolis Colts. Indianapolis. Indian again means black. Opolis means city. So this is the city of the black, or the black city. Remember, the Colts are a horse. So now we're dealing Trojan horse, black Trojan horse, the fall of Troy, melanated city of Troy. Now, in these games, you have different teams, which are pretty much troops. You have divisions, conferences, which are divisions and war conferences. Super Bowl. Food goes in a bowl or on a plate. Some people like their food on a plate, some like it in a bowl. The batter steps up to plate. Football teams dream of being in the Super Bowl. Once in the bowl, who are they food for? Turkey Bowl, Rose Bowl, Turkey Bowl, Indian Bowl, Rose Bowl, Bloody Bowl, Indians in a bowl. Look up Devil's Punch Bowl in Mississippi. The turkey in Greek is called the Indian bird or the Egyptian bird. Again, Indian means black or indigos, dealing with people of hue, the original hue man. Now, also, the turkey comes from the genus Male Egris. Male, a Greek word meaning black. Egris, we're dealing with eagle. Black eagles, or the black eagle. The beast play names. They play games with names, let me say. The beasts like to play name games, they like to play word semantics, and this is all done to keep people confused, and the purpose of sports rituals is to obtain your energy, you know. So the whole purpose or the whole goal of it, is to keep your attention because your attention is your energy, and energy flows where attention goes. So these are power rituals. Again, it's no coincidence that the Buffaloes lost to the Cowboys 4 years in a row. That was a power ritual. The buffalo symbolizes strength and fearlessness. So that in itself was a ritual. The Bills weren't supposed to win. Now, we're gonna move on a little bit. See, and when you get into this, I don't want to spook any of you out. When I say the word ritual, but you have to realize that fan is short for fanatic. Fanatic. It's fantasy. It's to fantasize. So you're turning into sports fanatics. You're fantasizing about sports. These are games, illusions. Now, who were the Vikings? The Saints. Well, we already know Vikings were conquerors. Saints, Christians, crusade, conquerors. Who were the Buccaneers? More invaders, conquerors, what they call pioneers. The Buccaneers probably bucked anything that came near them that didn't look like them. Patriots, Raiders. I mean, some of these names speak for themselves. Patriots, colonizing, Raiders, Tomb Raiders. They were invaders. That's who they were. What is an Oiler? A Texan, a Cowboy, a 49er. They were thieves. Who are the Chiefs? The Redskins and the other tribal animal teams. Those are the natives. That's what they represent. The buffalo is a sacred animal in many lands. It symbolizes strength and fearlessness. Again, Shaka Zulu created the buffalo horn battle formation, which other militaries have adopted and still use to this day. Invaders in the West love to hunt buffalo and tame bulls and horses. The other animals they like to imprison and put on display in the zoo, which are animal prisons. It's not really a place to take your family to view animals in a prison, which this is also dealing with the locking down of your chakras because we're dealing with zodiacs and zoology. We're dealing with animals, zodiac animals, chakra houses being prisons, or they're imprisoning your chakras basically, or your energy in certain chakra houses is being imprisoned. So it's again keeping you from elevating and rising. It's killing your kundalini. See, they do a lot of metaphysical things. They do a lot of physical symbology, which represents spiritual things. They're doing a lot of spiritual works. So you have to understand that this battle is spiritual before it is anything else. Now, basketball courts, King's Court or Knight's Court, Sir Charles, basketball, cannonball, shooting cannonballs into opposing knights' courts. Football, they call them gridiron gladiators, like Roman gladiators, who violently entertain people for a sport. It's no coincidence that the stadium looks like a Roman Coliseum. This is what we're dealing with, modern day gladiator games, because we're in modern day Rome. What is the saying? When in Rome, do as the Romans do. That's where you go wrong. Don't do as the Romans do, because you'll be doomed, just like the Romans, and you'll be left roaming. Now, what else? They talk about the spirit of the game and different things like that. Pay attention to the goalpost. It looks like the Ka symbol, which Ka is spirit. This is what it looks like, the Ka glyph. Punt the ball. Punt, the original name for India. Punt and ball, Baal, the son of El. See, it's a lot of spiritual significance in this, so you have to pay attention to what's going on. See, the land grab celebration begins once the ball is kicked off on the battlefield. They call it the playing field. Like I said, you're dealing with field troops, field soldiers, field infantry, infield, outfield, playing field. See, a field goal, their goal, on the field is to capture the enemy's spirit. So this is why they want to get in zone. They want to get in your zone. A completion, that's completing the mission or completing a certain stage in the mission. You have a touchdown, which a touchdown would equal an objective being complete and moving on to the next mission. You know, also, it's funny because a lot of this I thought about because I changed my profile picture. And it was an old picture that I did maybe 5, 6 years ago, about 6 years ago, maybe even before that, maybe close to 7 years ago. And I had on the Buffalo Sabres hat, jacket to match with it. That the jacket wasn't the Sabres jacket, but it matched the Sabres cap. And it was kind of like the throwback Sabres because the Sabres stopped using that logo. They went back to just using they switched their logo and they put it on a buffalo with wings, a buffalo with wings. They talk about Buffalo Wild Wings. Well, they say you might get a pair of wings when you die, and we all know buffaloes don't have wings, but buffaloes are wild. So if they're talking about Buffalo Wild Wings, this is representing dead buffaloes. You understand what I'm saying? You know, the Bills logo now, like I said, is a shot going through the bill of the buffalo or the head or the face of the buffalo. You can see the shot is going in from one side and coming out the other. That's why it looks like or appears to get larger as it comes out. The shot is actually coming from the other side. Prior to that, the logo for buffalo was just a buffalo. You know, and I used to like these certain logos, but then I realized, like, hold on. These are negative representations. These logos aren't positive. These logos represent something else. So that's what kind of made me start thinking about these things. But prior to that, I already knew that on pro sports, European sports, as they like to call it, war games, that they all are based on land grab and the snatching of the land from the natives or the indigenous people of multiple lands. That's why they have World League teams and so forth and so on, World Cups like hockey. What do people drink out of a cup? What are they drinking? Maybe they're drinking blood out of that cup. Because then you're dealing with ritualistic sacrifice, blood sacrifice, more energy and power rituals. So you have to understand the nature of the threat, understand the nature of your enemy, and you won't be led astray. You won't be confused. You won't be tricked into loving your enemy. And you have to also realize that just because they're your skin folk, they're not your kinfolk. They may appear to look like you, but that does not mean that they are like you. We have to deal with culture, values, morals. And I'm not trying to knock, sports. I don't have a problem with sports. It's just Europeanized professional sports where they have referees on the field to make sure that people aren't cheating or breaking the rules, which if we're all upright and we're all honest and honorable people, if we're having a friendly sports bout, we won't have to worry about cheating or breaking the rules because we'll be playing honorably. So this is how you know that you're dealing with unhonorable or dishonorable semantics or games. So again, tell people to be conscious of what you take in, what you allow to entertain you, which is to enter and contain you. Be careful because that's where the possession begins. They get you to give your energy to these things, these land grab games, these Olympic games, which are all power rituals. These are dealing with the power, the empowering of these parasites. Stop supporting parasitic supremacy. Stop being an oppressor protector. Stop supporting your oppressors. You're only dooming yourselves by doing so. Those monetary gains are not worth what happens to your soul. That's if you even have one, because not everyone has a soul. But like I said, I'm just, pointing out certain things to you. You can piece these things together and further connect the dots. It's a lot of teams, names that I may have left out, different things like that. You can piece them together yourself and you can see, where it's going. You can see who the dominant teams are in the league, who's meant to be the most dominant teams in the league, because like I said, once again, you're dealing with foreigners and you're dealing with nationals. You're dealing with invaders and you're dealing with the original people of the land. It's invaders versus natives. Conquerors versus those that are on this land to protect and that are trying to protect this land from being conquered. So we have to realize the spiritual significance along, with the physical significance to these things, because not only is it a modern day form of slavery and different things like that, but it also weighs your soul down and has a great toll on your spirit, you know. So well, I shouldn't say weigh your soul down, but your spirit, because your soul is untouchable, it's pure. That's what the confessions, the Maya, so forth and so on. I have not, I have not. The I is your soul. The am is your spirit. They must be aligned. The balance, become one, the holy one. Holy, meaning pure, not a part missing. So again, do the knowledge, you know, don't get offended, take heed. I'm not trying to offend anybody. A lot of people don't look at these things this way. They've been conditioned to look at things as just fun and games, it's just entertainment. But it's a lot deeper than that. It's more than entertainment. And like I said before, entertainment is the opposite of education. Education is to bring out what's already within your inner potential. Entertainment contains that potential. It's something that's entering, capturing, or containing your spirit, which it's possessing. It's possessive, taking possession over your spirit. This is the real possession, not the stuff you see in the Hollywood movies and things like that. Which Hollywood, you're dealing with sorcery and witchcraft. Hollywood, coming from the holly tree, which is the wand that the sorcerers would use, or the wood this is the tree where the sorcerers would get their wood to make their wands. This is why in Hollywood they talk about movie magic, and you're dealing with pixels, which pixel, you're dealing with pixies, which means to bewilder and to confuse. So that's why it's colored television pixels, because they want to bewilder and confuse your subconscious, your third eye, which they know reacts, or um how color, they know the way color affects, and they know that the way your third eye responds to colors and shapes and sounds and things like that. So again, we have to be very conscious and we have to be very comprehensive to what it is we're doing. You know, we have to be conscientious, you know, disciplined, you know, and we have to strategize, and we have to stop making excuses, because once you know better, you go better. When you know better, you grow better. You want to grow up, not grow down. So, this is why I constantly put emphasis on, wising up, rising up, and being greater. Because you have to rise and be greater. If you're not greater, you're less. This is why I talk about being more and not being less. Why I say a more, not be less. See, this word games, word semantics. The English language is an equivocal language. It's meant to confuse people. So be very careful. People are casting spells and curses every day. They're using spelling words, spelling words, spells, writing in cursive. You're writing curses, but you wonder why. You're stuck in this third dimension, physical. You're wondering why you're not ascending, because all of these distractions lead to ascension prevention. So, not going to take up too much of your time. We pushing the 20-minute mark. I know that people are battling with the adult ADD and the ODD and the ADHD and a lot of other things that are a result of the artificial food colors and preservatives that they're constantly intaking. I like to call them food drugs, which with any chemical drug, there's a side effect. So being considerate of those who are suffering or under the effects of these food drugs, I'm going to be wrapping it up. But feel free to go back, maybe take notes, and build off and build on to this yourself and connect more dots yourself. And you'll, able to paint your own picture based upon your own knowledge. So, again, with that being said, we got to do better. We got to wise up, rise and be greater. Peace, 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 peace.